There's a playbook that gets executed before every major currency collapse. Not a strategy that works sometimes, not a theory that smart people debate, but a mechanical sequence that the wealthiest families, the most powerful sovereign wealth funds, and the most connected central banks follow every single time a reserve currency enters its death spiral. 3 specific moves. Always the same 3, in the same order, with mathematical precision. And right now, as we speak in 2026, those 3 moves are being executed again on a scale that has never been seen in human history. The billionaires who control trillions in assets are repositioning. Sovereign wealth funds from the Middle East and Asia are executing the playbook. Even central banks, the institutions that are supposed to defend currencies, are making these moves against the US dollar. In 1971, European central banks saw it coming 18 months before the Bretton Woods system collapsed, and the dollar was devalued against gold. France and Germany executed the 3 moves and protected their nation's wealth, while the dollar lost 30% of its value overnight. In 1985, George Soros and the Japanese Zaibatsu saw the Plaza Accord coming. They made the 3 moves. When the dollar fell 50% over the next 3 years, they made fortunes buying American assets at fire sale prices. In 1997, Soros and a handful of global macro hedge funds executed the 3 moves against the Thai baht, the Malaysian ringgit, and the Indonesian rupiah. Those currencies collapsed 50 to 80%. The funds made billions. These are not coincidences. This is pattern recognition. Currency collapses follow a predictable sequence. A reserve currency becomes over-leveraged. The issuing nation runs unsustainable deficits. Foreign creditors lose confidence. Capital flight begins. The currency enters a death spiral. And because this sequence is mechanical, the response is mechanical. 3 moves, the same 3 that have protected wealth and generated massive profits before every currency collapse for the last 100 years. And those 3 moves are happening right now. China has sold $680 billion in U.S. Treasury bonds over the past 4 years. Japan has sold $310 billion. Sovereign wealth funds from Saudi Arabia, China, and Qatar are buying millions of acres of American farmland, not with dollars, but with direct asset purchases that bypass the dollar system entirely. The BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, representing 45% of the global population, have now launched their alternative currency system designed specifically to replace the dollar in international trade. The smart money is not guessing. They are following a script that has been proven 4 times in modern history. Let me show you what these 3 moves are, how they have worked in every major currency crisis, and why the fact that they are being executed right now means the dollar has 12 to 18 months before it loses its status as the global reserve currency. Once you understand this pattern, you have a choice. You can ignore it like most people will and watch 40 to 60% of your dollar-denominated wealth evaporate. Or you can recognize where we are in the cycle and make moves to protect yourself and potentially profit while there's still time. The reason it is always 3 moves and not 2 or 5 or 10 comes down to the structure of currency collapses themselves. Currency collapses are not random events. They are mechanical failures that happen in phases, and each move addresses a specific phase. Move 1 is exit. This is when sophisticated investors realize that a currency is over-leveraged and the issuing government cannot sustain its debt. The potential returns no longer justify the risk. The math has stopped working. This is when you exit sovereign bonds, you sell treasury holdings, and you convert paper claims on the dying currency into something real. You get out before the devaluation begins. Move 2 is acquisition. Simply holding cash in the dying currency exposes you to devaluation. When the currency collapses, cash loses purchasing power. So you need to convert that cash into real assets that hold value regardless of what happens to paper money. Foreign real estate, productive land, commodity producing companies, tangible assets that cannot be devalued by a central bank printing press. Move 3 is diversification. You are not just exiting the dying currency, you are repositioning into the rising currency, the one that will replace the old reserve. You establish accounts, you build positions, you create infrastructure in the financial system that will dominate the next era. You are not just avoiding losses, you are positioning to profit from the new order. Execute all 3 together and you have created perfect positioning. Move 1 protects you from the devaluation. Move 2 preserves purchasing power in real assets. Move 3 positions you to profit as the new currency rises. And then there is an implicit 4th move that comes after the collapse. Using the capital you protected and the positions you built to buy back into the collapsed currency as assets at pennies on the dollar after the crisis has destroyed everyone else. But let me show you exactly how this has played out across 4 different currency crises. Move number 1 is the bond exit.